Good day, everybody. I hope you all had a fantastic Friday. My Friday was full of fun. My day off, like in that I have a solid day off all the time, every week. Took advantage of it, slept in some. Planned on doing a few things that I wound up not doing. To get one errand done at least. But I was going to get a haircut, and I wound up deciding against it. Not necessarily because I didn't think I needed it just yet. I'm getting there. It's not quite there, I guess. But also because I thought I would do something else, and also because I had plans in the evening. And, yeah. So it's just things that piled up, I let pile up kind of a little bit. And so not wind up doing several things that I was going to do. Excuse me. Went to a friend's birthday celebration. Which was followed by Mafia. And I actually got there late, so I literally got there right at Mafia. They wound up having cake a little later after one of the games, I think after the first game. So we played 3 games of Mafia. The birthday boy was the moderator in the first 2 games. And the third game, it sucked. He was taken out by the Mafia first night, so he didn't actually get to play, which... terrible. Terrible thing to do to him. He likes playing too. I guess he really likes moderating. He likes being creative. He likes controlling the game, which is what the moderator gets to do. But he likes playing it too, and he didn't really get a chance to. And that sucked that happened on his birthday for his birthday party. So, yeah. So 3 games we played. Game number 1, I was regular town, and numbers didn't work well for us. I did fairly well as far as looking around, figuring things out. I was given a gun at one point. And the numbers were getting tighter. We were getting smaller
__________________________________________
And I knew that at one point I was the only person left with a gun. And the Mafia would have to take someone out that night. And the Mafia was well aware that I had a gun. And I didn't think I'd survive the night. So we had just cleared somebody, and basically the result was that he was the governor, and he pardoned himself because he was the governor, and he could do that just the one time. And so because he was cleared, and he was kind of arguing against someone else, I went to the other person, and I was thinking maybe they're Mafia. And then I'm thinking, well, we're not going to be able to find out. I have a gun. I'm going to die and not be able to use it. So I randomly just kind of threw it out there, and bang, she was the framer. Holy cow, that was a lucky guess. I mean, it was not a complete guess. It was somewhat educated, but I didn't have enough to go on specifically. Took a shot, wound up being right. Unfortunately, the numbers still didn't matter because we went to sleep. Mafia killed someone, and we were down to even numbers. And so we couldn't take a majority and sleep without a Mafia, so the game ended. Kind of uneventful game beyond that. Except that during the first round, I was silenced. That's something I never do. I never silence myself. I'll never want to let another Mafia silence me, because it leaves me defenseless, unless someone's kind enough to defend me. And so I made it a point to once again make sure everyone realized that if I'm ever silenced, I'm not Mafia. Because I hate that. I mean, I can't guarantee that someone who's a silencer would still really want to silence me, even if I'm Mafia. But it wouldn't make much sense to be honest. But I would never want it to happen, basically. And it did. Twice. It happened again later on, too, and the last game was frustrating, and I'll explain why. But that was the first game in a nutshell, really quickly, and Mafia wound up winning. Losing effort for me. Game number 2. I'm Mafia. I'm the Godfather, in fact. And gotta say, pretty proud of the outcome. Mafia wins. We get pretty close. Some Mafia get picked off. A lot of town get picked off. We get down to a point where I've been communicating with the person sitting to my right significantly. The two people to my left were both Mafia as well. They were on my team, along with a couple other people scattered throughout the room. And guns were given out. Quite a few guns were given out. In the first game, the way he gave out guns was there was no gunsmith. The moderator wound up being the gunsmith, and he gave out 5 guns, all in the first night, all to every third person. So this person got it, I got it, this person got it, this person got it, this person got it. 5 guns out, basically. And the guns all got used except for my gun. So in this round, however, there was a gunsmith, or a couple of gunsmiths, as it turned out. Guns were passed out. I did not wind up with a gun this time, but my partner to the left of me did have a gun, and he was Mafia. He was a Yakuza who didn't want to strike his Yakuza role, which he needed to do, but he didn't want to because he had a gun and he needed to use it, but he wasn't using it when he needed to. He needed to just pull the trigger, literally and figuratively, pun intended, I guess. And so what ended up happening was more suspicions grew more and more and more, and someone pulled the trigger on their gun, taking out Mafia to the left of the person to my left. And then this person with the gun, Mafia side, reacts by shooting that person, and then someone else shoots him down. Now we're down 2 Mafia and a townsperson, both rolls. Boom, 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 just like that. At any rate, no, he didn't shoot that person. He shot the cop. And the cop was sitting to my right, and I had been talking to him, and he was kind of listening to me. I think he believed me, trusted me. But the gun from the Mafia was used to take out the cop. Then another townsperson took out Mafia right here. Lost the ability to use the Yakuza role because it played out that way. That sucked. But basically it came down to the fact that we had 2 nurses in the game. Both had been saved by Mafia, so they were cleared. We had one person who had been definitely checked by the cop and found clear and innocent. There were no Yakuza strikes, so nothing to worry about there. Which left us with 3 Mafia and 1 townsperson left that were suspicious. They go after one of the Mafia. He manages to talk his way down. It doesn't happen, which gives us 3 options, really, if they count me. But I had been talking with the nurse to my right and the cop right next to me so much that they both trusted me, and the other person over there I think did too. And so we got to the point where it's 7 people left, 4 town, 3 Mafia. We have to balance this, because once we get the balance, the game's over, basically. Even though there are 2 nurses in the game. And so we have to figure, how can we do that? Then we're going to go after this person who's Mafia or this person who's town. So I have to convince the nurse that I think the town is Mafia. I'm just so convinced of it. I'm like, I don't think it's her, I think it's her. I successfully did so. He believed me. The Mafia obviously also voted with me. And the other nurse actually voted with us as well, which surprised me. And we basically unanimously took out the last town, leaving it 3-3. We go to sleep at night. There's one chance that this won't work, and that's if the nurse saves the right person. So we choose. We know he's a nurse. We think he might be a nurse too, or something else. And so we go for the third person that's left. It was just a generic role. Turned out she was the governor, and could have pardoned people, but didn't at any point in the game. And so we took her out, and then it was 2-3. Mafia wins, hands down. Even though there were 2 nurses left, we wouldn't have been able to kill them, but they wouldn't be able to lynch us. It was basically a draw at that point. But we had more people, so the numbers had us in our favor. Alright, that went long enough, right at 10 minutes. Can I go into game number 3? Game number 3, we had a different moderator. Birthday Boy was in the game. Mafia's first kill was the Birthday Boy. It sucked. Everyone was like, that's crappy. Who would do that? That's so wrong. And then immediately people started jumping on his best friend as the most likely culprit. They also go after me, and I was silenced yet again on the first night, for the first day, so people are pointing at me, and I'm trying to figure out why. And this person sitting right next to me is the same person that it was before. He's going after me for some reason, and I thought I heard something during the first night, something that to me indicated he might be Mafia. And then something else happened with the next death at the hands of the Mafia was someone who mentioned they thought maybe it was this person. So then the second day, turns out this person was the one who was silenced. And so I started going after him because I thought I heard him. I thought he's suspicious because the person who mentioned him got taken out. There was a third reason, I forget what it was now. But I thought it all just made so much sense, so I started going after him. And then the person again sitting to my right, who wound up being the nurse, started saying with pretty good certainty he thought this other person was Mafia. So he went after him, and he was Mafia. He was actually the Yakuza. We got him kind of out of nowhere. Surprising. And so that told me that this person to my right was clear. He was definitely innocent. He just took out Mafia. And so that meant anything he said was probably in the clear too. And so he had actually mentioned that the person to my left, who had gone after me, and who I was going after, had actually given a sign during the night, a sign that wound up being Gunsmith, indicating that he was an important town role and not guilty, not Mafia. Good enough for me. I dropped everything as far as going after him. Wasn't good enough for him though. That night, probably the biggest mistake the Mafia could have made was that they seduced me. They had a lot of people thinking it was me, but they seduced me, which effectively just clears me, because Mafia shouldn't. And there was some confusion as to whether they could or not. Technically, they can, but realistically, they can't, because it's pointless to seduce a Mafia unless the seducing is the very first thing that's done, so that no one else can visit anyone. So whoever was seduced will appear innocent. That's the only goal to seduce a Mafia, is to make them appear completely innocent, and you would need to seduce first. You don't seduce until that's like the last thing. The last Mafia role that gets done is seducing. So as a result, I had to be in the clear. Person on my left, who had gone after me, also he was seduced the next night, and he was put in the clear. If for some reason I couldn't use it as a defense against him, and he went after me, and maybe not that next round, but a few rounds later, eventually I got taken out, despite giving the best reasons with irrefutable evidence on my side. The town still almost unanimously voted me out. And so I said, what's your role? Pull my card, which says town on it, and I said, I'm town. You guys don't want to listen to evidence. Clear-cut evidence. And then the next person they went after was the person I told them not to go after. I'm like, don't go after him. He's going after me, but don't go after him. He's innocent. I think he's innocent. I believe that he's innocent. I'm dropping that completely. Don't go after him. They still went after him. He gave the same defense. Somehow he survived. I guess they backed off, or there wasn't enough votes or something. They got someone else instead. Whittled it down little by little. At one point we had him being seduced a second time. Someone else, who wanted to be Mafia, claimed to have been seduced and that he was lying. It was overlooked. There was bad strategy that came into play. We had a tracker who had no idea what they were doing, so that tracker was basically worthless. I kept begging for them to check me because they would find me innocent. Without a shadow of a doubt, I would be innocent. Another one of my defenses was, I've been begging for the tracker to track me. There's no reason why I would want to do that unless I'm innocent, because they're going to find me innocent. Um, so it was what it was. We wound up getting down numbers. One person had us completely fooled, which sucked because I'd actually figured out her tell in the first game. After the first game, the second game as Mafia, we eliminated her first, so I didn't get a chance to play that. And the third game, she played with her tell, and I overlooked it until I was dead, and then I started seeing it, but I already knew she was at that point. Anyway, so it wound up coming down to 2 Mafia, 3 Town. But of those 3, of those 3 Town, one's a tracker who isn't doing anything effectively and isn't really coming up with the right strategy. Another person, someone we've gone after a couple times, realized she was probably in the clear, and the person who was definitely in the clear because he was seduced twice, and they still end up taking him out. And they went with a 2-2 tie with... no, they didn't take him out. They took out the other person. So you end up with a tracker and the gunsmith left in the game against 2 Mafia, but there's no way to pull something off because the seducer is going to keep seducing the gunsmith, probably. They could have switched and seduced the tracker, which means the game might have continued with the gun being given to someone, but not the right person. But there was also a gun in possession in the seducer's possession, so that could have played out differently as well. All in all, it wound up coming down to a tie, and Mafia comes out on top when that happens. So Mafia went undefeated this night, 3-0. I won when I was Mafia with some pretty solid gameplay. I felt bad because someone was really trusting me and believed me and fooled him completely and got him to vote out and get the numbers on their side. And so I felt kind of bad just because he was so bummed about having made such a big mistake like that. But it's the nature of the game. It is what it is. Okay, so then it ended. We had a birthday cake celebration, singing somewhere in between one of the games, I think between the first and the second game. And then came home, and there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight, everyone. I hope you enjoyed my little Mafia recap. Sorry it's long again. That's usually the way it is with Mafia. Tomorrow I got to work, so I'm going to say goodnight, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow.